Good morning and welcome to the Cryptosphere. This is Cryptogenic coming at you. As you have probably noticed, I have rebranded my channel and changed the name. It's not that I'm no longer cryptogenic, but my channel now is going to be more than just cryptogenic. I plan to keep sharing with you market updates, technical analysis of digital assets, and so forth. But I'm going to also offer you more than that. I've got two podcasts. One of them I gave you an installment of last night. It's called Talking to My Diary, and it's basically just that. I just talk to my diary. You may or may not enjoy that podcast. Some people do, some people don't. Second is called the About the Benjamin podcast, and that is the podcast devoted to the concepts of identity, creativity, destiny, and how to find yours. And so I've already got multiple episodes of that posted on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify Podcasts. But I'm going to start posting those episodes, the new episodes, here on YouTube as well, and do them as video interviews. I interview entrepreneurs and movers and shakers in the industry, in multiple industries, who have had a dream and found a way to make it happen. So, a lot to talk about there. I've got several streams of content that I'm preparing and working on, and I'm going to be kind of dripping out in the days to come. I think you're going to really like some of the stuff that I'm preparing for you. However, today is not about that. I just wanted to give you that quick update before we jump into these here charts to talk about what is going on in the cryptosphere. Is there an impending Bitcoin breakout? And if so, what are the levels and what are the targets and what are we reaching for and what are we trying to do? So without further ado, let's jump into these charts right here and see what's going on. This is my Bitcoin dashboard. I've got my weekly chart here. I've got my daily chart here. And I got my 4-hour chart here. This dashboard allows me to juxtapose multiple time frames and see how the same indicators indicate different things across 3 different time frames. And that juxtaposition of time frames is really what provides me the foundation for my analysis. If we start from the daily chart to just kind of get a feel for what has happened, what we can see is it looks to me like we're coming to the end of a short rally. And the top of this rally was 20%. So we've just seen a 20% breakout, and we've been in this ascending channel. We capitulated beneath it for a moment, but notice that the support of the breakdown of this ascending channel honored this line here pretty much exactly. So it was a retest of this broken line. Now, if I were to take a measured objective this breakout, I would say it has the capacity to take us up 28%. And 28% from the breakout point takes us up to $34,000. So the question is, are we headed to $34,000? And the answer is maybe, but it's not going to be a linear journey. And I'll tell you why. There's a number of reasons why. First, just looking at this daily chart, these big red blocks here, these are volumetric order blocks. We've got 2 overlapping volumetric order blocks here, which means that there are sellers waiting here with short orders. And there's a sizable number of short orders, especially in this darker or this lighter red area where these 2 order blocks overlap. It means there's a lot of money waiting in there to short Bitcoin, and that's why this is my box here. I added that. That was my target for this whole move up, because I saw how much money is waiting here to short it. And I put this line here. If I were shorting Bitcoin, that's where I would have shorted it. But I did not short Bitcoin. I'm not shorting Bitcoin right now. Simply because of all the money. Now look how aggressively this was bought down when it came into this region, right? So Now, from a fundamental perspective, we could say that this spike here was because of the rumor about the ETF, the Bitcoin ETF from BlackRock, that it was approved. And so you had this spike, and then it was bought down immediately. Now, it seems to me that had that news not broken out, Bitcoin probably would have come down into this lower order block here and picked up some more of these orders. But what we're looking at here, if I can just hide my drawings, when we look at these blue and these red order blocks, a couple of things we see. Number one, you're looking at support resistance zones here. That's all these are, okay? You've got resistance, support, resistance, support, until one of these two blocks is extinguished. And then guess what? You got more support. There's another order block here. And you've got even more support. There's another order block here. Now, it doesn't have to take this path. It doesn't have to bounce between here that many times. The point that I'm making is that there are more blue areas down here than there are red areas up here, which indicates that there's more money waiting to buy Bitcoin in these lower levels than there is waiting to short Bitcoin in these higher levels. What that indicates for me is that we're going to eventually break through this level and move higher. So getting to that 34,000 level, 34,000 would break us above the resistance here at 31,000. This is the level we've been trying to break for quite some time, and we got stuck at this level over here. And once we capitulated beneath 32,000 over here in May of 2022, we have not been back above 32,000. So this is like an iron dome, right, that we've been trying to break, and we got rejected over here. If we do get 34,000, it breaks us above that. That means 32,000 becomes support. So if we somehow, break above this and hit here, then we're set to do this. Okay? So that would be dope, right? That would be absolutely dope. However, the thing that we got to keep in mind is that in the meantime, we got to make it through these order blocks here. This resistance here is formidable in the short term, and it looks like we're going to get rejected down into these lower order blocks before we break into the higher order blocks. And a breakdown from here, depending on where we break down, takes us down to the bottom of this order block here. So, not to mention, secondly, when I look at the RSI, we're getting diminished returns in the RSI. So notice the RSI, if I can just it almost doesn't matter, but the RSI topped out here on October 1st, and now we made a lower high in the RSI, while we simultaneously made a higher high in the price. That's bearish divergence. So we've got bearish divergence on the daily. The RSI is telling us that the momentum on this move up is slowing down and that we can expect a breakdown fairly soon. Okay? So the RSI is telling me we're going to break down. The order blocks are telling me we're going to break down. All right? And then the measured objective of the breakdown takes us to the bottom of these order blocks here. That's why I have a target at $26,124. And then if you just look at this pattern this trend that we've been in, if we just delete all this other nonsense and just look at the broader trend. Let's hide the indicators. And let's just get rid of this. And even get rid of this. And even get rid of this. Look what we got. The trend keeps going higher on top. right? So we've got resistance, support, resistance, support. We're hitting resistance early here. That's diminished returns. Support. Okay. So the odds of us returning to the support here, in my opinion, are high. And if we break beneath this whole trend, a breakdown from this trend takes us right back down to this level here. All right. Revisiting the area where we had support here on this breakdown at about 20 grand. A lot of people don't like to hear that, but I think that's a solid possibility. Now, what happens when I turn on volumetric order blocks? Let's see. Watch this. Oh, I was wondering if there was an order block there around 20,000, and there isn't. But there's an order block, a big order block here on the weekly at 16,000. So the fact that I'm not seeing an order block on the daily is interesting to me. Last time I looked at it, I feel like there was an order block there. Hey, if anybody's with me today, can you give me a shout out? Drop me a line, say hello, so I know you're there. Leave me a comment. All right. So that's the daily. Going to the 4 hour, basically the same thing. On the 4 hour, the RSI is exhausted and it's breaking down. So this looks to me like the beginning of a downtrend. I mean, notice the RSI topped out here and it starts a downtrend until the RSI bottoms out. So how far down will we go? We just have to watch and see how far down we are when the RSI bottoms out again, and that's how far down we will go. So once the RSI bottomed out, the price bottomed out and started to make its way up again. Once the RSI topped out, the price topped out and started to make its way down again. So we just got to follow the RSI and see how far down we go. However, let's just remove the drawings from here for a second. Notice that we're building support here on the 4 hour. And resistance maybe it's better to do resistance like this. It's basically a channel. Yeah, basically we just got this bullish channel here that we're in on the 4 hour. So support's going to be at the bottom of the line. We could wick down into this volumetric bullish order block and then maybe break out again. So remember, we got resistance and we got support. Thanks so much, Mitch. Good to see you, brother. Yeah, so we got resistance and we got support here. We just have to watch and see how far down we break. But by the way, if we break beneath, if we break down, remember one of the rules for technical analysis is gravity. What goes up must come down. So ascending channels tend to break down. Descending channels tend to break out. And a breakdown of this channel would take us down to about $25,000. Now the question is there an order block at $25,000? And lo and behold, if I put a line here and sync it in the layout, it appears right here at the bottom of this order block here on the daily chart. So on the daily chart, there's money waiting down at the bottom of this line. Right? So, yeah, Mitch, I mean, I still see an incoming breakdown to $16,149 for Bitcoin. That's my sweet spot. And that spot is where that will be an epic buying opportunity for everything in the crypto market. That will be the beginning of the next bull market, in my opinion. So we'll see if I'm right. I've been saying that for quite some time, but we shall see if I am right or if I am wrong. All right. Last thing I'll look at is the Bitcoin dominance chart. Bitcoin dominance. All right. First thing I notice is bearish divergence on the Bitcoin dominance chart. Notice that this high is, we actually have a slightly higher high here. But a substantially lower high here. When you make a higher high in the price and a lower high in the RSI, or even if you make a flat high in the price and a lower high in the RSI, it's called bearish divergence. It indicates that the RSI already topped out and the momentum is now moving down. However, this line is still pointing up, which means it hasn't topped out yet. We need to, in order to determine where this high actually is, it has to turn over. So that the bearish divergence can be invalidated if the RSI makes a higher high. That's yet to be seen. But once again, we're in this ascending channel. And the measured objective for a breakdown is about a 10% breakdown, which takes us down to the equilibrium. What this tells me is that right now Bitcoin comparatively is overvalued. Compared to the rest of the crypto market, it's at the premium, right? Bitcoin dominance is at a premium right now, which means that the altcoins at this moment are a better buy. However, on the weekly chart, we're just approaching the equilibrium. But the weekly chart seems to me to be promising an even bigger breakdown. The weekly chart, yep, okay, so let's open the weekly chart and take a look. The RSI is showing bearish divergence on the weekly chart, strong bearish divergence on the weekly chart. Now, when you see bearish divergence on the weekly chart, it could take weeks or months to play out. So it's not impending any moment. But what this is showing me is the coming of a substantial downtrend in Bitcoin dominance. Now, we could make it all the way up to 60+% before we see that downtrend transpire. So you don't trade the weekly chart. You trade maybe the 4-hour, the 1-hour chart. But this is a data point that gives us a macro perspective on what's coming in the market. Now, when I go to the 4-hour chart, short-term downtrend is transpiring. Look at this. We've got bearish divergence. Even on the 4-hour, all the way down to the 4-hour, bearish divergence in the RSI. Lower high. Slightly higher high, mostly a flat high. That's still bearish divergence. It indicates that this move up is exhausted. Okay? Now we achieved our measured objective here. We got it. We had this little bull flag here, a bull pennant. We broke bullish above it. We exceeded our measured objective for that move. Now there's got to be a downtrend. However, we've got bullish order blocks here on the 4-hour, which means that there's 3 levels of support here on the 4-hour for Bitcoin dominance, which means that we could see Bitcoin dominance come down, down, and even down, and then break out again. There's almost no resistance against it. Oops. So on the 4-hour chart, it still looks bullish. I mean, we see this on the daily chart as well. Look, where's the red? There's no bearish volumetric order blocks above. You got clear skies. The next order block is up here in the 60 percentile. So even if we break down to these bullish order blocks, I think Bitcoin dominance in the midterm could make its way up into this order block here between 60 and 65% before we see a sizable breakdown. But the sizable breakdown is indeed coming. And then this is my altcoin market chart. Any idea when big move is coming in? Ooh, it's hard to say, Mitch. It's hard to say. That's the thing about technical analysis. You know, I've got a corporate client right now that I do charts for. They're in commodities. And seeing big moves is not hard. You know, Elliott wave theory, you could look at trend analysis, RSI, all of these things, throw them together, and you can see big moves. But calling the timing of those moves is not so easy because the path toward these targets is not a linear path. So I have no clue, but I would imagine between now and the early part of next year. So here's my thesis. My thesis is that between now and the early part of next year, we're going to get at least a breakdown to 20,000, if not 16,000, and then the market is going to take off. That's my theory at the moment. However, it's yet to be seen. Number one, it's yet to be seen whether or not that will play out. And then number two, the timing of that is yet to be seen as well. So I don't know, Mitch. I don't know. I wish I knew. I wish I knew. I'd be a rich man. Well, listen, folks, please remember that this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Everything that I do here is designed to empower you to sleep in peace every night, wake in joy every morning, and walk in love every day. I'm thankful for the opportunity to come before you. I've got a lot more to share with you in the days to come, and a lot of different kinds of content to share with you in the days to come. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you give it a try and give it a look. I know it's not what you're used to, but I just want to bless you. I want to bless you by giving you all of who I am, not just one component of who I am. And crypto technical analysis is only one component. I've got a lot more. With that being said, thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for walking with me. And this is Cryptogenic, a.k.a. About the Benjamin, signing out.